Europeans brought civilization to Africa. And with that, we also brought, aside from the medicine, education and infrastructure. And those things still live on today. Europeans brought civilization to Africa. And with that, we also brought, besides from the medicine, education and infrastructure. And those things still live on today, right? Those roads that were built, all the infrastructure that happened back in the day, they were a great help. And you know that. Everybody knows that, because you didn't have those kind of roads, etc.
That is very, very laughable. Historical fact shows that Africa is a cradle of civilization. We taught you mathematics, we taught you medicine, we taught you hygiene, we taught you even the so-called governance that the Greek practiced. They learned it from Africa. Egypt at that point was an educational city of the world. Have you heard of the Library of Alexander?
That burned down.
So many knowledge in Africa that you guys came, we babysitted you guys, taught you guys civilization, taught you numbers. You didn't know numbers. 1, 2, 3. You didn't know 1, 2, 3. We basically taught you guys everything you know, and now you want to say you brought civilization to Africa. You have some nerves.
The only thing that you brought to Africa, I'm going to give you a historical fact. White South Africans arrived here as settlers. They found an entire civilization which was created by black people. They found Africans living in an environment that coexisted with our planet and saw the environment as a friend, not as an enemy. Them being shocked by this later on instilled fear into them, and they went about to bring about the destruction of black people. You did not bring civilization to black people. In fact, black South Africans at one point tried to civilize white South Africans. It did not work. They were civilized the second time by actual Afrikaners. They went in, slaughtered those people, and then took the identity of bringing an Afrikaner their own. While we know that they did not even create the Afrikaans language. It was created by the colored community which was stolen from them. Now they even regard the actual Afrikaners as the lower ones, and they are the more posh ones because they are white people. However, they lost their identity of being a Dutch. They did not have access to proper health care. The Afrikaners had to actually go back down to the T to teach them that. Most of them were even dying at war because the British held them captive. And in fact, the British referred to them as low-class white people. It was only black people and those of colored people who wanted to help them rise. And in fact, it got to a point that black people did not want anything to do with them anymore. Even the colored people, it got to that point that they don't want anything to do with them. So you know what they did? They unalived them because they don't want them anymore. Because how do you civilize something of sort? How do you do something of sort? So history is very interesting. There's no way you could have civilized us. You brought about your own civilization, which is the destruction of everyone. And you destructed us specifically because you needed the natural resources and the free labor that we can give to you. You took away our humanity and reduced us to nothing to make yourself feel better, and specifically the white man. So there's no way you could have civilized Africa. No way. You brought about our own destruction. We were fine. We are still fine without you. You can take your Bible, you can take everything else and leave, bruh. It's just as simple as that. And I find it very ironic that the Afrikaners, they called the Portuguese Cigaffers. Meanwhile, they are half-breeds themselves. So because the British looked down on them, they seeked to dehumanize everyone that they can feel better about themselves. So how can somebody with such a history of cruelty bring civilization to a group of people? You cannot even talk about our housing system because it's more advanced than the housing system of the houses that you created for us to live in. They rot by themselves. They're not even eco-friendly. They're very expensive, and it's just not environmentally friendly. So there's no way possible you could advance an African person. Look at what is happening to Africa right now. All of this can be traced back to the history of your ancestors the first time they arrived here. Some of them even halved the population just by being here because of how dirty you guys were. I mean, did you forget what even unalived Europeans in Europe? You were killed by hygiene, bruh. How can you teach me hygiene? Teaching me hygiene? You even think of cleaning yourself as ungodly. You think that taking a bath and looking after yourself is not something that should be done by you because you have a white skin. If anything, it's you who needs more cleaning, basically.